Confused about how to plan for your retirement? Shawn Maloney is here to help. Shawn has created the Retire Happy framework that considers more than just how much you should save. Getting information and tools to preserve your financial future is minutes away. Welcome to the Priority of Retirement with your host, Shawn Maloney.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Priority Retirement, where we dive into all aspects of retirement planning, unpacking strategies, ideas, and insights for that thoughtful, rewarding journey into retirement. Today, we have the pleasure of having Jet Vertz on the episode with us. He's a retired aviation business executive, distinguished career at Pratt Whitney Aircraft, served as vice president with a background in aerospace engineering, computer science, and holds an MBA. Jet's career spanned both in aviation industry and military service, having been commissioned as an ensign in the U.S. Navy during the Vietnam War. So thank you very much for your service. Now retired, he enjoys an active lifestyle filled with snowboarding, surfing, and helping others transition into retirement. He leads the Purpose-Driven Retirement Workshop at the University of Rhode Island, and where he guides individuals in finding that fulfillment beyond their career. So Jet, thanks so much for coming on today. It was a pleasure to have you on.
Oh, it's my pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Well, tell us a little bit about, and thank you again for your service. We honor our veterans and everything that the military does for our country. So deeply appreciate that. But tell us a little bit about how your experiences, in aviation and the Navy kind of shape your approach into this whole retirement and post-career fulfillment stage of things.
Well, I would say that about 95% of my retirement and post career fulfillment was really influenced by my Navy and aviation experience. When I joined the Navy, they sent me to officer candidate school in Newport, Rhode Island, and to be trained as a naval officer. While attending OCS, I met my wife, Joyce, in 1972 and married her. After graduating from OCS, through the Navy and to my business, I lived really all over the place. I visited 35 different countries.
Wow.
When I retired, I brought her back to her home state, Rhode Island. And that's where, we live right now, where she was originally from. So, well, I would say that I did very well in 40 years in aviation business, climbing to an executive level position as a vice president. As a result, I earned 2 pensions and accumulated a very good, comfortable nest egg savings, which allowed me to really retire comfortably and pursue whatever I want to do during my retirement period. So yes, I would say that the Navy and the aviation business had a prominent influence in shaping my post-career fulfillment, and I really enjoy what I'm doing now.
Love that. Love it. Love it. We talk obviously a lot about retirement, and getting ready for retirement and what that means, here on the podcast with our listeners and people that we outreach to. And, there's so much to that transition to, from the career to the retirement phase, both financially, but also both from a personal, emotional standpoint. There's all kinds of things that go into that. So tell us a little bit about what, inspired you to create that Purpose-Driven Retirement Workshop, right? And what kind of key insights do participants really gain from that?
Well, I would say there's 2 things that inspired me to create Purpose-Driven Retirement, a workshop that I created. First, when I retired, I didn't have any specific plans other than just to relax and follow my hobbies, snowboarding and surfing.
Yeah.
Most likely, I am no different from most other retirees. I had no specific master plan for my retirement period.
Yeah.
However, about in the 6 months into retirement, I felt bored, and I realized that I should be doing something more meaningful and more, since my physical and cognitive abilities were still good, I felt like, wait a minute, what am I doing? Just walking the beach every day,
Right.
So boredom from a lack of meaningful activity was the first element that inspired me to create Purpose-Driven Retirement. When I searched online for meaningful things to do during retirement period, I found numerous bucket list items. While they were good, they were mostly about fulfilling personal or selfish desires like skydiving, climbing Mount Everest, whatever. Okay.
Right, right.
These bucket list items were, they were good, but I felt that they were not meaningful beyond just myself. This inspired me to go beyond typical bucket list items and do things not only just for myself, but also for something beyond myself to family, community, country, and the world. That inspired me to create this purpose-driven retirement.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, because we've talked a lot about this. Is that the financial side of things is just a tool to enable your retirement. We want you to be able to enjoy your retirement, and really where the joy comes from is in the fulfillment. I feel as well in retirement is that purpose part of it, right? You go from working your whole career, your most of your life. That's what and then you get into retirement. You have all this time in your hands, but the purpose and relationships, all those different things are really, kind of at the heart of, that fulfilling and joyful,
Yes.
retirement. So glad you're doing that. The more we can get the word out on that and get people kind of ready for that transition and what that really means. Because like you said, you spent 6 months just doing things that you enjoyed, and that will last for a little while for people. And then you kind of look around and go, okay, now what?
Well,
Right?
6 months was a honeymoon period.
Yeah.
After that, I realized, hey, I can't do this forever.
Right. Right. Exactly. No, I love it. I love it. Well, you talk about snowboarding and surfing, all those kind of things. And I know those are some of your passions, but how's that kind of influenced your retirement journey, right? Why do you believe staying active is really important during retirement?
Well, first, I am so blessed to have these two hobbies, snowboarding and surfing, and I enjoy doing these things. As I get older, I'm very aware of the importance of physical activity, especially when I see other retirees of my age who are not as physically and mentally fit as I am.
Yeah.
I am not only enjoying snowboarding and surfing, but I also strongly believe that these two activities, although they are physical activities, not only keep me fit physically, I also believe that these things really keep me mentally fit. So based on this thing, I intend to continue snowboarding and surfing until the day I die. That's what I want to do.
There you go.
Just being out in the nature, I
Yeah.
believe it really helps you mentally as well as physically.
No, I totally agree with that. And it's an important aspect, right? Whatever, your activities you choose to do, it's important. I agree, right, from the physical and a mental aspect. We see it too often where people retire and they kind of settle in and they don't do much. And it not only wears on your body, by not obviously not being healthy or staying active, but the mental side, I think, is even bigger. Keeping your mind sharp, keeping your mind engaged,
Right.
and just keeping things moving forward for you. It's super important. Super important.
Even though these two things are physical activity, I believe it helps both physical
Yeah.
and mental.
Oh, sure. Definitely related. Yeah. 100%. Well, we talked a lot, we're talking about that, right? And so, after a career focused, professional, and then tell us a little bit about your thoughts on when people are struggling with that mental shift, right, from the work to retirement side of things.
I have two pieces of advice for career focused professional because I was very career focused when I was, in the career portion of my life.
Yeah.
First, make sure that your finances are in order before you retire.
Yeah.
Let's face it, if your finances are not in order, okay, I don't care what you want to do, you're not going to be able to enjoy your retirement.
Sure.
I am very blessed with two pensions, Social Security, and high seven-figure retirement nest egg savings.
Right.
This allows me to do whatever I want to do during my retirement period. And I think that's important, very important to keep your finances in order.
Yep.
Second, think beyond yourself and your profession. There are so many things that one can do to give back to your family, community, country, and the world. My profession was an engineer in the aviation business, and I was very good at it. But I had no idea that I could be a good teacher at a college level classes and write a book. I did both when I retired. And gee, I could have done that before. So think beyond yourself. That's what
Yeah.
I would say, and get your finances in order.
Yeah, no, good advice. Good advice. We talk a lot about on the financial side of things, when you back into and you get those core needs covered, right? It's to me, that's that factor of, being able to relax and know that your base living expenses are covered and that whole sleep at well night factor, right?
Yeah.
If you can do that, and because there's far too many people in the States, for the United States being one of the wealthiest countries in the world, there's far too many people that aren't ready for that phase, right? They're not ready for that. And, you know, I agree, and enjoying things or finding things outside of what you're not defined by your work, your whole career. Try stuff, right? You may not know what it is, but you go try stuff. You have time now, go try stuff. If something
Exactly.
doesn't suit you, go
Exactly.
try something else, right?
Yep. Exactly.
100%, 100%. Well, we talk a lot of, obviously we talk about, financial planning and whatnot for retirees, right? And but from your perspective and your opinion, what are ways retirees, how they can approach financial planning to ensure they have that long-term preservation? We obviously work with people and build plans out, but I always love for other people that have been through retirement or in retirement and help other people kind of weigh in on the subject.
Well, I have a two pieces of advice for this for potential retirees on this question. First is to make sure that you have a good amount of nest egg savings and try to
Mhm.
do savings early in your life, early in your professional career. And there should be minimum amount. I know a lot of people don't talk about it, but I think minimum you should set a goal to have about $1 million worth of nest egg savings, whether it's an IRA, regular investment savings, or Roth IRA. The second advice, something I really didn't seriously consider before I retired, and that is the annuities.
Mhm.
Today, most retirees do not have a pension, as most companies have eliminated the annuities or pensions.
Yeah, yeah,
I have two pensions. They are annuities. When I retired, both companies gave me an option. I can take that in cash or keep it as annuity. I decided to keep it as annuities.
yeah,
And let me tell you, that's one thing that I absolutely do not regret having
yeah,
these two retirement nest egg savings annuities,
yeah.
because I don't care if I use up all my retirement savings. I have a peace of mind that I have a lifetime income coming to me. That's something I really haven't thought about before retirement, but now I am receiving those monthly checks, and until I die, it's just a really good um, peace of mind, and something that I really haven't thought about. A lot of people should really think about their annuities.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize that, that's really what a pension is, right? And with pensions gone by the wayside, with most companies not offering a pension these days, there's only about 7% of companies out there that are offering a pension. And then there's the ones that are out there, some of them are not funded properly, those kind of things. But there are ways, like you said, through annuities to create your own pension, right? It's really what
Oh
you're
yeah,
doing.
create your own
Um,
pension. Yeah.
you know, and and we always recommend too, you got to have a diverse, portfolio of how you put your plan together, and that can definitely be, a key component of it, combined with a couple other things. It does give you that sense of stability, for sure.
Yeah, when we talk about diverse portfolio, I never had an annuity as part of my diverse portfolio before retirement. But
Yeah.
now I realize how important that annuity is part of the diverse portfolio equation.
Yeah, I mean, there's, the way and we love educating people on retirement. What I tell people a lot is, look, just like when you're saving up for retirement and you're investing, right? You're not going to put all your money in one company stock or one piece of, because that's not diverse, and something happens to that company, it's, your nest egg goes away. Well, the same kind of thing goes for retirement planning, on the financial side of stuff. When you're putting together your overall plan in your portfolio, it should be made up of different types of investment because they all serve a different purpose. They all
Right.
solve a different problem in retirement. And there's not one out there that can solve every single problem, but they all have a certain purpose. So, absolutely love that for
Well,
sure.
that's where you guys come in, financial
Yeah,
advisors.
yeah.
I
100%, 100%. We love that. We love that. Well, another thing that, we talked about spending time in retirement and what's, purposeful and fulfilling but there's ways to, continue education and community engagement, those kind of things that in retirement that I think are extremely beneficial. And like you said earlier, we have time now. Why, you can turn your attentions to, serving other people and those kind of things. So talk to us a little bit about staying motivated, connected, and fulfilled, with those kind of things in your life.
Well, to me, continuing education and community engagement during retirement are part of a purpose-driven retirement for anybody. Continuing education is something you do for yourself to stay cognitively sharp, and community engagement is about giving back to your community, country, and the world. To me, these two elements should be an integral part of one's post-career years as a purpose-driven retirement. Very important items, I feel.
Yeah, I agree with you. And what we talk a lot about, finding, fulfillment and joy and happiness in retirement. And to me, a lot of that is giving back. Our human nature, it's amazing what kind of joy brings when you're helping others out versus just turning inwards to yourself, right? And it's a beautiful thing, and we all know the world certainly needs more of that these days.
Absolutely. And joy, by giving back, joy keeps you alive, I think, longer.
Yeah, it's all part of the health cycle, right?
Yeah.
I mean, well, man, it's been a pleasure talking to you. I appreciate you coming on today. And guys, you'll be able to see information, about Jet in the show notes and his bios and those kind of things. Appreciate you coming on. We love having different perspectives and guests on our show. And as we mentioned in the past, we enjoy those people coming on. And for having Jeff on, we got to disclose too that just for Jet appearing doesn't mean that he is endorsing us or associated with us in a way, but he's a pure joy guest that we have on the show here today. So until we talk next time, here's to aligning your future and looking toward for that joyful retirement. Jet, we appreciate you. Until next time, we'll talk to y'all later. Have a blessed day.
Thanks for listening to The Priority of Retirement with Shawn Maloney. If you enjoyed the show, check out our reviews on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. For more free resources to help with your retirement journey, go to retirewisepro.com or check the link in the show notes. You can also download a free copy of Shawn's book, The Priority of Retirement, or reach out to discuss working with him directly at retirewisepro.com. Thanks for listening.
Insurance products offered through the insurance business RetireWise LLC. RetireWise LLC is also an investment advisory practice that offers products and services through AE Wealth Management LLC, AEWM, a registered investment advisor. AEWM does not offer insurance products. The insurance products offered by RetireWise LLC are not subject to investment advisor requirements. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Any references to protection, safety, or lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products, never securities or investments. Insurance guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims-paying abilities of the insuring carrier. This podcast intended for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be used as the sole basis for financial decisions, nor should it be construed as advice designed to meet the particular needs of an individual's situation. RetireWise LLC is not permitted to offer, and no statement made during the show shall constitute tax or legal advice. Our firm is not affiliated with or endorsed by the U.S. government or any governmental agency. The information and opinions contained herein provided by third parties have been obtained from sources believed to be reliable, but accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed by RetireWise LLC. Guests of the Priority of Retirement are not affiliated with, nor do they endorse Shawn Maloney or RetireWise LLC.